Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Piofiore 1926, continuing Henry's route, still in chapter 1. Possibly getting close to chapter 2? I don't know, but we're on our way back to Burlone. This seems dangerous, but probably less so than hanging around and letting the Phantom kill off more orphans. Traumatic events of last episode. Anyway. Henry and I took a train from France back to Italy. The journey was uneventful, and we approached Burlone without anyone in pursuit of us. There was only one road leading into town. We abandoned the car on the outskirts and walked into the forest on foot. After a while, I noticed something. This looks familiar. This place is... And this is the underground path that we used to escape Burlone. Do you think the other end is still blocked off by the rubble? This passageway connected to the casino. But the casino burned down that day. It won't be a problem. I've asked for it to be cleared in advance, enough to walk through. But who would... I may not have mentioned it before, but I'm acquainted with those who would help me under any circumstances. But the bloody card, did they intercept the letter? Or someone handed it? Because it's like Dante had it. So like I was like, Henry went to Dante? I mean, but like now I'm wondering. I remembered. Henry was very good at winning people's hearts. I mean, he won all of ours. To quote what I heard once from the Mafia, he's a master manipulator. I mean... He's very good at winning hearts. He's a master manipulator. Yeah, fair. Again, though, everyone's slight trash in this game. But we love them all anyway, right? There must still be people who were drawn to him in some way. Then the telegram that you received at the hotel was from... A response from one of my allies. Even when we were still living together in that house... I had information about Burlone sent to me periodically, in case something were to happen. Most of my trips into town were for work, but I also made time to meet with the others. On occasion. I was like, wait for it? Okay. I was surprised to find that he had completed his work early that day. If he was only picking up another report on Burlone, that would explain it. And that'd explain why. That's for next week. We descended the stone steps together. Wow. The path looked the same as I remembered. Now let's go. I took his hand and we went deeper into the underground passageway. This feels a little strange. We were using a secret passage to return to Burlone, the same one we used to escape it. Ooh, Aria! I thought I hit the button and when it disappeared, I was like, oh no, did I hit the wrong thing? My God. After Henry and the heroine escape the burning casino, Henry thinks about what happened as they travel through an underground passage. Oh, Bert, are you okay? Can you? Okay, thank you. He was sitting on my shoulder, but then my headset cord was like over it, so it's like you can't figure out how to walk over it. You're not very dexterous. Kind of lazy. Their footsteps echoed through the passage. Perhaps I said too much. I was astonished by the weight of my regret. And no, all I did was reveal the truth, and there was nothing for me to hide anymore. And yet I still stopped midway. I was conscious that we were holding hands. She held my hand timidly at first, and then now her grip was stronger, as if she would not let go. I expressed my thoughts of being unclean, so I expected that she'd not want to touch me. However, she told me otherwise. And it's so funny because this just pervades, like, I am unclean and awful, do not touch me. Meanwhile, the rest of our mafia boyfriends are like, yeah, I've murdered people, stabbed people, slice them up, do horrible things, but it's fun, we can touch. Like, no qualms. You know, I mean, I feel like Henry's got a slightly better soul, maybe. I don't know, you know, but even they're all trash in different ways, and they're all good in different ways. But, like, In essence, we all in the trash heap here. Like, okay. You could justify, like, whatever love interest you want as being better than others. Like, you could argue, like, well, but Orlok's a good little church boy. It's like, but he murders people. He's probably murdered more people than anybody else. Except for Yang, okay? But, like, he may be sweet and nice, but he still stabs people. You know what I mean? And Yang, you could argue and be like, well, I mean, he's murdery and stabby, but at least he, like, doesn't try to hide it or pawn it off as, like, in the name of the church or something holy or whatever. You know what I mean? He's just like, nah, I stab people. What else? You know what I mean? But so, I mean, they're all kind of like equal term trash. But I do think it's funny, though, with Henry that he's like, I am vile and dirt, don't touch me. He's got this weird, like, complex about this. And nobody else has problems with the things that they do. I feel like Orlok might have had problems with the things he does, but he's like, it's for the church, though. And then when you're like, well, actually, you know, it's still wrong either way, he'd probably, like, literally collapse. But, you know. Oh, I actually now remember this CG. Like, it's familiar. You know what I mean? Like, oh, sitting here without his mask on, but still in the uniform. Oh. Despite my reservations, I held her. She could have become ill from the cold and her fatigue, perhaps even lost her life. I clung to the excuse that I had no choice. We spent time sitting together to rest. She asked me questions and I answered them. And then I made her cry. I thought before that you probably lived alone all your life. I thought you hated the Mafia because of all the suffering you went through. But I couldn't have been more wrong. I wasn't even close to understanding how much you've suffered. I'm so sorry, Henry. She cried while apologizing to me. You didn't do anything wrong. I had no right to tell her so, nor dry the tears she spilled. I only wanted her to know, to understand for her own good, and that I don't deserve to live, and that she should leave me behind. I'd survived by cutting off my emotions, but seeing her cry awakened pain in my heart. If my past made Space sad, she could block it from her mind and forget about it all. He actually called us Space now. Interesting in his little flashback. I was assailed by my own thoughts as we traveled down the seemingly endless passage. When the entrance was blocked by the rubble, I was unable to support her as she fell, because I had hesitated in reaching out to her. Not because I didn't want to touch her, but because I would only defile her with hands so unclean. Despite that, after we rested and set off again, I offered my hand to her. I only did so because her unsteady gait was worrisome. Worried. After all this, my own pathetic excuse was laughable, and that wasn't why. And the real reason was simply that I wished to touch her. I could no longer resist the thought. I hurt her with what I said. Still, perhaps it was all for the best. For her best interest as well as my own. She cried for me. A sense of relief swept over my heart, and the tears she shed for me seemed to dull even the most painful memories of the past. For a little while longer, till the path ends, I hoped I could continue to hold her hand. We walked through darkness toward the light. We were using a secret passage to return to Berlone, the same one we used to escape it. He led me through it in a similar way, even though he said it was painful to touch anyone. While we lived in France, there were a few times when he pulled away from me. I felt impelled to confirm something with him. Henry, are you sure you're okay with this? Yes. He looked down at our hands as though the thought had just occurred to him, but he said nothing more on the subject and continued on with me by his side. I've been told that the wreckage hasn't been fully removed from the casino. The entrance to the passageway is hidden by rubble, I constructed it to not be immediately visible to begin with. In actuality, it can be moved with a slight push, and as I'm sure you remember, Henry, who had been explaining things matter-of-factly, looked over with a slight smile. The passageway is long, so we can take a rest as needed. And let me know when you're tired. The fact that he had a passage built from the casino all the way into, like, the fucking woods is like, how did you have this? Did you murder the people that, like, built this? Because, like, how did this information never get out anywhere? It just, there was a fucking passage. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will. Thank you, Henry. We walked on with only the sounds of our footsteps echoing through the passageway. Don't bite me as I'm trying to read. That's not nice. Hey, I love you too, beast. It was half a day's walk, but we stopped along the way to take breaks from time to time. We finally reached the end after nearly a day. Could you imagine? How long is that? Like miles. We moved the rubble aside and emerged inside the casino. You must be tired. Are you still able to walk? Yes, I'll be fine. I can't imagine they come out of that, like, not covered in, like, cinders and dirt and dust and cobwebs and looking like they've been rolling around in that debris and shit. What will we do now? Just as he was about to respond, Dante. I'm just expecting it. I'm gonna read it like Dante because I expect it to be Dante. Hello. It's been a while, you two. Or it's Emilio. Someone suddenly called out to us, and I nearly stopped breathing. I turned toward the voice to discover... Oh no, it's Emilio. Damn it! I was like, I'm expecting Dante because he had that letter and he had the card, you know what I mean? And it seemed suspicious. But then I was like, it's probably Emilio. Yeah, alright. Well, second time I guessed it right, I guess. My second thought was right. Someone familiar waiting for us. Also, Emilio! Oh. Oh, wait. Bye. Is it chapter 2 now? Oh, okay. Like, we're just fading away. I'm assuming that's negotiation, but I can't read French. The person who greeted our return was none other than a servant of the church. A mysterious boy named Emilio, who's like 3,000 years old. Why are you here, Emilio? Why are you here, Emilio? So many ways you could read that. I thought perhaps Henry contacted him before our arrival, but... Oh, look! Henry looks so pissed! Henry's pissed face is kind of funny because he's just like... It's like a pissy bitch face. From the look on Henry's face, it didn't seem as though that were the case. Emilio looked at us with a warm smile. Oh, okay. Going right up into our email story, pure. Our NICOLA, okay. And Dante, it's almost time. Yes. Are you still thinking about the letter? You may believe what was written in it, but I personally find it difficult to trust. I can't be certain of how credible that information is. In any case, he must have a sizable grudge against us. I understand how you feel, Dante, but even I'd have done the same if I were him. What do you mean? The family's mission and her existence are inseparable, which is why we can understand him in this situation better than anyone. But what he's done is... There's something I haven't told you, Dante. If he had decided to keep running, if we were never to meet again, I'd have kept it secret. It was something Dante might not want to know, nor did he need to know. However, the situation was beginning to change. You know, Dante, I'm sure that you remember your father, Silvio, was a sharp man. He was a fine boss and more ruthless than you. Perhaps even more than I. Nicola's like, he might even be more ruthless than me. That is like saying something. What is your point? You've been at the center of this family all your life, so you may not have realized it. What exactly your father did for him, adopting him into the pure FALZONE family, albeit a distant branch. Do you understand what I mean? I looked away from Dante and toward the clock. It was almost time. Oh, we should get going. If we're late, we'll have no choice but to suffer Yang's taunting. I mean, that almost sounds... Are they talking about Henry? Was Henry adopted into the FALZONE family? Because of his sister, you know what I mean? Like, that... What? Then you almost be like, are they talking about Raoul? But, like, I feel like they're talking about Henry because the letter and the card, like, I feel like somebody intercepted that. You know what I mean? Because the card that Dante had wasn't just like, oh, it's the same as the one Henry has, but it's also covered in blood, which means, looks to me, it's like, it's the exact same card. Or, like, why is the Phantom going around dousing all the cards he leaves to people in blood? You know what I mean? Like, dude. Or, I mean, it could have just been convenient, like, oh, you have a card covered in blood? I do too! Because maybe he's leaving them around. I don't know, you know what I mean? He's slashing people up, so if he's leaving a calling card or a business card behind, they're probably all covered in blood, so, I mean, that's fair, so. Emilio looked at us with a warm smile. Why did you return, Henry? We both know the dangers involved. I know you're not the type to act without thinking. But I fear that this was an unwise choice. The Berlone Mafia will kill you. I'll explain before they kill me. Do you believe they'll allow you the opportunity? I've made arrangements to encourage them. Emilio's like, eh? In that case, you're in luck. They're gathering at the church tonight. A meeting at the church? I glanced over at Henry again and still saw no change in his expression. Do you already know, Henry? I see. So you really have come prepared. I'm not optimistic enough to leave the future to chance. Luck has never favored me. Emilio seemed pleased by Henry's reaction, but then he gave a sulking pout like a child. In any case, I thought I told you to contact the church for assistance, yet you did not reach out to me even once. Do you really consider me so untrustworthy? This isn't just about you. And besides, isn't it obvious that I'd never trust the church? Although, Emilio, if you're willing to help, knowing of any changes to their eligibility will be enough. Yes, of course, I will be in touch. I didn't know what they were talking about, but Henry looked relieved to hear the response. Let's go. I don't know why my brain was trying to read that, like... It's fucking Emilio. Yes. I took Henry's outstretched hand. Together, we left the casino and headed for the church. I have a bird under my chin. Like his permanent place of residence. Dante! Well, that's Gil, but we're Dante. So what's the emergency? Been a while since we had any reason to talk outside the usual meetings. It hasn't yet been confirmed, but it's likely that Direttore Henry Lambert will soon be returning to Berlone. And by soon, you mean like now? Oh, you don't say. Where did you get that information? Not even the church has been able to confirm his whereabouts. I cannot reveal my sources, but suffice it to say, they're reasonably credible. That's why I've called this meeting. Oh, so like NICOLA murdered someone and took our letter. Got it. Or, oh my god, is NICOLA on his side? Oh, he's like, keep the girl away from Dante. Because, you know, like, NICOLA wasn't like... There was like, I do kind of remember in the first game parts where he was like, you know, Dante, you shouldn't like her. No. No. Especially like when he died because of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think NICOLA would be like, no, that's fine. Take her away. I need Dante to like get his fucking head in the game and out of there. Like, just stop, you know? So like, I'm not necessarily sure that NICOLA wouldn't be like, I've been helping him to keep her away from you. Like... We're not that toxic compared to every one of the love interests. I'm just saying. Anyway.
Have you discovered evidence suggesting his involvement in the recent deaths?
Oh, we found no evidence that implicates him, but in the same vein, there's no evidence that proves his innocence either. I see. Then, suddenly, the doors of the church slowly opened. Da da da! Here we are! Hello! Hop in. What's up, home slices? No, too soon? At once I saw the surprise on Gil's face and the agitation on Orlok's. Yang looked to be thoroughly enjoying the moment. Of course. NICOLA immediately drew his gun while Dante narrowed his eyes with an icy glare. NICOLA's like, I will shoot you. I told you to keep her away from Dante.
I've come here to talk.
Henry spoke before the others could say anything. The first to reply was,
Oh, you made such a grand show of your last cowardly escape, and now you've returned. Surely you're here to amuse us again in a similar fashion.
Yang smiled derisively, but Henry responded in an unaffected tone.
And my reasons for returning are not of the amusing variety, although I trust you'll find sufficient amusement in them nonetheless. I do look forward to it, although you seem to have forgotten your mask. However will you manage to speak in front of us without it? Unfortunately, I had no interest in saving useless souvenirs. Sorry for disappointing you.
Orlok, who had been watching their exchange with some degree of confusion, turned to me and spoke in a respectful voice.
Spacey, I'm glad to see you're well, but
why have you returned to Berlone? Orlok's like, you don't belong here, girl. You need to leave. I'd like to hear more about it as well. NICOLA's footsteps echoed throughout the church as he approached us with a cold smile. We had a deal! He then raised his gun to meet Henry squarely between the brow. Of course, depending on what you have to say, I may need to cut it short. As for me, leave it to Henry. I'm sorry. I feel like these are both good because, like, leave it to Henry, like, because you don't want to step on his toes and imply that he can't work out his own shit. But at the same time, she's ballsy in this one to be like, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna, and you could speak for yourself. I'm sorry, I ran away, but, like, don't touch Henry. I'll fucking kill you. I would have been, like, inching in between. I'd have put my hand up in front of NICOLA's gun and be like, nah, motherfucker. Don't think so. I would say that she's ballsy enough to say I'm sorry. Fuck yeah! Woo! I'm very sorry. All of you have treated me so well. I know that anything I could say now would only sound like an excuse. But please, listen to him. Yes, you've acted quite selfishly. We were very worried. But no one here's angry at you. Not at you. I know that everyone sees Henry as someone who can never be forgiven. But, like, also he sees you that way. So, like, maybe we should just put our dick measuring contest aside here. Who hates who the most? That's what they're measuring. I looked at NICOLA and all the rest who had gathered here. But I'm just as much to blame because I was the one who helped Henry escape. He let out a little sigh of exasperation and quietly chided me.
I understand you're trying to protect me, but you don't have to put yourself in danger.
I do because I love you. I will throw myself in front of that goddamn bullet. And then Dante will be so freaking pissed he'll kill NICOLA, and then there'll be a bloodbath. It's fine. Henry took my hand and gave it a light tug, moving me behind him.
I have information that I believe will be of benefit to the Berlone Mafia. Allow me first to explain. You can decide after that whether or not your weapons will be necessary.
A heavy silence filled the church. Ooh, sorry, bird. Sorry, bunny. The first one to speak was Orlok.
I'd like to hear your explanation.
Yeah, same here. Let's hear it.
I don't care either way. What do you think, FALZONE?
I want you to explain everything. What you know and why you've returned. I'll agree with whatever the boss wants. NICOLA, seriously, put your gun down. That's gotta hurt. NICOLA gave a small shrug and lowered his gun. Still, can't believe you'd come back to Burlone now of all times. What do you mean?
Have you not told the woman? Surely not even you are foolish enough to remain ignorant of the town's affairs.
Town affairs? Do you know what they're talking about, Henry?
Yes. I didn't share the details with you because I didn't want you to worry. Recently, there have been a number of mysterious deaths in Burlone. They're likely a series of murders committed by the same killer.
All those killed were former employees of the casino. Their connection to the same person has not gone unnoticed. They all suffered horribly gruesome deaths, on a level that even torture doesn't often match. It's not something I would want you to hear. The killer has gone too far in their methods. Oh, I can imagine their methods! Because I saw them do it to orphans.
In fact, all of the victims' eyes were slashed in the shape of your beloved cross.
That's... My voice caught in my throat. We grab Henry. Our children! And they're all like, whoa, wait, what? You've only been gone for like a year! What the shit? I remember the horrific scene at the house. Same person who killed the children? I want them to be like, children? Wait, what? Explain this. How did you have kids? We adopted orphans. Wait. You helped him escape, and you two were hiding away adopting orphans. Yeah, you can't be mad at him now. I'd be like, think of the children, but they're dead, so like... You can't take Henry from me! I lost my orphans! He's all I have left! I feel like the bad ending of this is Dante doing the same shit he did in Orlok's bad ending, killing Henry and then just, you know, assaulting us. Dante, no, please don't. I'm still kind of not over that ending in the first game, okay? Haunting. Children?
After we left the country, we moved to a remote place and took in 3 orphans to live with us. 10 days ago, she and I were away from the house for several hours when the children were murdered, and their eyes were slashed in a cross shape.
Looks so pissed. Card was left with the message to come to Burlone.
His entire objective seems to be to drag me back to this town.
Do you know who was responsible? Henry cast his eyes down regretfully and spoke the name. Yeah, it is the Phantom. I mean, we gotta figure that out. It was like, I wonder who's... Oh, duh! I mean, so, you know.
Sebastiano Gallier.
But that's... Wasn't it the alias you used at the casino?
Yes. Son of the prestigious Gallier family in Rome. I killed him and assumed his identity.
Well, you didn't kill him well enough. All I'm saying, Henry, kill better. Kill's over there like, at least when I kill people, they don't come back from the dead. Jesus. Do your job right, man. Use that name to disguise yourself. Returning as the manager of a state-owned casino. Essentially, the Direttore. I can't say I didn't suspect it, but are you saying you didn't actually kill Sebastiano Gallier?
No, I was of the belief that I did kill him. But if he is still alive, it would all make sense. Oh, the casino employees are being tortured for information about you.
If that's true, then this is just the beginning. Lambert's return to town will bring about an even greater disturbance.
And all this noise has been a result of your doing. What a nuisance. hope you'll take responsibility for all the trouble you caused.
When has Yang ever taken responsibility for any trouble he has ever caused? I'm gonna say never.
Naturally. I wouldn't be here otherwise. And that is, of course, if you don't kill me after our discussion.
He answered Yang's mockery with a plain expression.
Sebastiano Gallier has ravaged this town to the point that his presence can no longer be tolerated by the Burlone Mafia. I will take responsibility for the matter. It's clear that I'm the source of this conflict, so it's only logical that I address it. However, I understand that my own existence is similarly intolerable to the Burlone Mafia. You have every right to kill me. Despite that, I have one thing to request.
I gripped Henry's hand, wondering what could possibly be taking place inside his mind. It's gonna be like, don't touch her.
Until I kill Sebastiano Gallier, I ask that you allow me to live.
Dante's like, Look at Dante just being so adorable and pretty. I love this right now. Our man harem is complete. Guys, can we all just get along? Listen. I'm gonna need you to get along. If you can get along with Yang, you can get along with Henry, okay? The man harem's big. There's not gonna be fighting in the man harem. You don't always have to, be bros with everyone in the man harem. I get it, because we got some real bitches up in here, okay? I get it. We got some men with some serious attitude adjustment problems, alright? But, there is not going to be any fighting, and there's not going to be any murder, okay? Dante, look at me! You leave Henry alone. You don't have to like him, but you still have to let him live happily in the man harem, alright? I don't want to have to kick you out. You don't have to, hug and be best friends. That goes double for Yang. Somebody keep him on a leash. Actually, I'll keep him on a leash. Sounds kind of hot. Wait, Yang's the one keeping me on a leash. That's it. I'm going to roll reverse. I'm going to put him on a leash. It'll be fine. Upon hearing Henry's request, several of their expressions sharpened into glares. Yang's thin smile turned upward with obvious enjoyment, but Gil looked incensed. Last year he was framed by Henry and thrown into jail on a false accusation. Oh, yeah. That's right. Oops. Forgot about that. I mean, that was brought up in Alternativa, and I was just like, what to do. Just check that over there in the corner. It was obvious that the explanation Henry offered wasn't enough for him. Till you kill Gallier, huh? What about after it's all over and done? You gonna let us kill you without a fight? He might, but I won't.
I cannot give you my answer now, but rest assured that I will pay the price for having damaged your honor.
Pay the price? I wanted to ask him what he meant by that, but knew that now was not the time. Will you now? Henry still seemed calm, even though he was in a situation where the wrong words meant death. Here's the thing, I'm gonna, he might let you kill him, but I won't, and I'm just gonna throw it out there. I will come after you. You got one eye, Gil. You gonna be able to keep that one eye open all the time? I know your weakness, and that is Oliver. I will kill Oliver as much as it pains me just to drag you down. Alright? Oliver, I don't want to do it. Sweetie, Oliver, it's okay. I really don't want to do it, but I'm just saying, smack some sense into him so he doesn't kill my boyfriend. We are not going to sit here passively and take this abuse. Don't touch Henry. Leave him alone. He's a bit of a bastard, but so aren't all of you.
If you allow me to stay in Burlone, you will be rewarded. Money, information, whatever you believe will be worth it. And how much do you believe your words are worth? You have offered no proof whatsoever to support your claims. I cannot be sure that this Gallier is even alive to begin with. Then I'll first begin by obtaining sufficient results to address your doubts. I will bring proof of his existence and movements within the next 2 weeks.
Henry spoke with certainty, as though he had been prepared for their suspicion from the start.
Since you will continue to meet periodically, I I propose that I report on my findings at each meeting until you're satisfied.
For a time, no one spoke, all of them contemplating his suggestion in silence. NICOLA looked over at Dante, who nodded and spoke quietly. The Burlone Mafia has had enough to contend with recently. The government has been aggressive in their campaign against us.
The party has only increased their efforts since the start of the year. In addition, the Lao Shu's relationship with the Lu Huanhu has worsened. I wonder whose fault that was.
Henry looks a little guilty right now. He's like, ding, 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 It'd be funny if he was like,
that was absolutely not me this time.
These are the times we live in. In all honesty, we cannot afford to waste time on these new problems. On the other hand, trouble in Burlone means trouble for us if we don't stamp it out. If another incident occurs here, there's a good chance the church will intervene again. Nicholas over there like, fucking hate the church! Cause of all my problems.
Yes, it's something that can't be denied since we saw it happen last year.
It would be convenient for us if someone got rid of the serial killer on their own. We would have no reason to stop you, at least. I'd also like to see a quick resolution, even if you are a two-faced bastard. I mean, fair. He is a two-faced bastard, but like, any of you are motherfucking angels over here. I'm just throwing that out there. You're all acting a little high and mighty. Like, Dante hasn't filleted frickin' Raoul alive. Maybe not in this route, but I'm just saying. Like, NICOLA isn't out there just shooting whoever he needs to and torturing people. These two are torture bastards, okay? And Yang just killing whoever he wants, but it's kind of funny that when Henry does something against you, you're like, how dare you? We would have done the same thing, but at least we would have been justified. Like, you killed his sister, you bitches. Like, okay, it wasn't really their fault, you know. It was Dante's dad, really. Kind of his fault. Didn't she, like, kill herself or something? Forget exactly how it went down, but you know what I mean? It was kind of like his dad's fault, and, like, Henry's a little irrationally pissed about it. Like, okay. Alright, listen. We all are mad at each other for stupid shit that everybody else did, and it's all irrational. Let's sit down and hold hands. You know what? I lied. We are going to sit down, hold hands, and become best friends. Alright? They're all idiots. All of them. But right now, Henry is our idiot of choice. God damn computer, stop it. Which is really annoying. Sorry. My volume went back up because Norton decided to do a pop-up. Anyway. With that, Dante turned his attention to Yang. Noticing this, Yang's smile deepened as he answered.
Do whatever you want. Just be sure to make a spectacle of it.
With Yang's assent, Dante finally confirmed. We will accept your proposal, Henry Lambert. Until this case is resolved, we'll not seek retribution for last year. However, know that any suspicious behavior will be punished. I mean, you have to, like, at least think about it like, the Mafia are the powerful ones. Even if they've done awful things, they're the ones with the power, so it's absolutely the same power dynamic in reality. Well, it doesn't matter what I do wrong. You did something wrong that offended me, therefore you should have to pay for it. I accidentally, like, spilled coffee on your shoe. You murdered my entire family, but somehow what I did was worse. You know what I mean? It's the power dynamic, so Henry's not as powerful as the Mafia, so all the shit he did to them is far more offensive than the fact that they caused his sister's death. Or that they've killed other people and done whatever. But, like, I mean, also, to be fair, he directly tried to fuck their lives up. And, like, they really had nothing to do with his sister's death. He's just holding a grudge against Dante's father. Who, like, you know, lied and manipulated and whatever. But, like, not saying what Silvio did was right. But, like, Henry, that is not a reason to kill a bunch of people. So, alright, our boyfriend is extremely irrational. But still, I'm just saying. Can we all just admit we're all wrong? And we're all deviant buttholes over here. Like, I'm... True.
Thank you for your gracious decision.
Thank goodness. I mean, that would have been the end of the fucking route already if they killed him now. I breathed a sigh of relief. One of the bad news is that he's gonna die. We were able to avoid the worst situation. For now. Oh, sorry, Bert, I had to yawn. I believe Gallia's goal is to extract vengeance on the person who tried to kill him. Exact vengeance, wow. If that's the case, doesn't that put your girl in the hot seat too?
I assume so. And there's a high chance that she'll be targeted, so I've prepared a safe place for her.
Yeah, not with you, Gil. Back off.
I see. If you say so, it surely must be a very safe place indeed.
I didn't know where this safe place Henry mentioned would be. I thought he was going to ask for their help.
I'll be taking my leave. I hope to hear more interesting tales at the next meeting.
Yang headed toward the entrance, narrowing his eyes a little as he passed me.
Surprised to see you alive. You are a lucky woman.
His tone was mocking, but I didn't sense any anger in his attitude. No, because he's like everyone else, like, come to my place if you want. Look, because they're all fawning over me, okay? In their own way, that was Yang fawning over me. Dante's been fawning over me since he was like 8. And I'm just saying, so Henry, like, not wanting to touch me, but absolutely refusing to, and acting standoffish, it's kind of hot. A little bit of that in us, right? You know? Knock me down a peg. Dante also left the church after Yang. Over there with his white hair and those glowing blue eyes. He's so fucking pretty, I can't help it. Dante didn't even give Henry a second glance. Henry's revenge has been centered around the FALZONE family. It was no surprise that Dante couldn't forgive him. NICOLA followed after Dante, and for a moment it seemed as though our eyes met. As Gil approached, he looked at me with a warm smile. Everyone else is a little like, Yang, of course, teasing us, because that's Yang, and then the other two just being like, huh! Snotty, not even saying anything, and Gil actually just being a sweetheart. Still wants to kill my boyfriend, but at least he's being a sweetheart. Hey, Signorina. It's been a while. Never thought I'd ever see you again. Gil... Oh. Lay. Ooh. Dante. Yeah, I know. But pointing your gun when you had no intention of shooting was over the top, don't you think? It would have been suspicious if we welcomed our kidnapper with open arms. If we were to accept his terms, putting on a little show was in order. Interesting. Interesting! Oh! Yo, last year Gil was the one who rescued me and took me into the Visconti's protection. He was the person I was closest to in the Burlone Mafia. How's Oliver? I won't ever hurt Oliver. It's empty threats. I'm just saying, though, if you hurt Henry, it's going to be tempting. I don't want to have to hurt Oliver, but I know that would make you sad, Gil. I've seen it before. I knew from your letter that you were fine, but I was still worried. I'm really happy I was finally able to see you in person. Thank you, Gil. So am I. I know I'm in no position to say this, but I'm glad to see that you're all well. You're an important friend to me. Your partner can get stuffed, but I'm here for you. If you need any help at all, you can always count on me. Your partner can get stuffed, but... You know what, Gil? You're such a charming bastard. I can't be mad at you. Listen, I'm gonna be mad at you if you kill Henry, but you probably just charm me and I'll be like, yeah, I understand. I'm mad, but it's fine. How dare you? Gil still hadn't changed. He gave a friendly smile and left the church. I usually lock the doors to the church, but if you want to pray, I can wait for you. Then I hesitated for a moment.
If he doesn't mind, then you should. I'll wait until you're finished.
Okay, then just for a moment. Feeling relieved, I accepted the opportunity. I knelt down and folded my hands together. For as long as I could remember, I had prayed inside this church every single day. Being here again gave me such comfort. When I had finished praying, Orlok spoke. Gilbert told you already, but I'm also relieved to see you again. I'm sorry for worrying you. Gil and Orlok are real bros. No, as long as you're safe, it's fine. But we don't know what will happen from now on, so be careful. Thank you. It looked like he was about to say something, but then he closed his mouth again. I waited in anticipation, but in the end he said nothing. After we came back out, Orlok locked the doors. He gave a slight nod and turned around. I watched his back as he walked down the road. I then turned to Henry. What will we do now? I was curious about the safe place he had mentioned, but his response surprised me.
Let's look for Sister Sophia. You'd like to see her, wouldn't you?
Of course I do, but it's already so late. I don't want to wake her.
She's still awake. I told her you'd be arriving in Berlin tonight.
I remembered Henry writing a letter while we were staying at the inn. Did she turn over the letter to Dante? Could that letter have been for Sister Sophia? Henry took my hand and started walking. He seemed familiar with the church's layout and headed toward the refectory without even the slightest hesitation in his footsteps. As we stepped inside, I saw her familiar figure sitting there waiting for us. Sister Sophia stood up from her chair.
Space!
She rushed over to me at once and embraced me tightly. I felt so overwhelmed that I began to cry. He's leaving us here. Sister Sophia, sorry, I didn't tell you anything.
Yes, I was very worried. Very, very worried.
I loosened my arms and pulled away a little to see Sister Sophia gently smiling at me.
However, I received your letter, so I could at least take solace in the fact that it was your decision to leave. Even if we never saw one another again, I prayed that you'd be able to live a happy life. I'm so glad that you're safe, Space.
I sensed her. I sense her by seeing her sad face. I sense her by seeing her sad face. That's what it says, right? Huh. I sense her worry, maybe, or whatever, by seeing her sad face. Or, you know what I mean? Maybe they're missing, like, I sense her worry, her strain, like, you know what I mean? Anyway. Did you hear what happened from Henry?
Yes, I heard of the great tragedy.
Her eyes filled with tears different from the ones I shed just a moment ago.
Sister, I'm afraid she's had a long and tiresome journey. Given all there is to talk about, may I ask if you might prepare her something warm to drink? Yes, of course. Give me a moment to prepare some tea for you.
Sister Sophia, let me help you.
No, you just wait right here. You must be tired from your long journey.
She gave me a stern but gentle look. Our trip was indeed quite long. Although we took some breaks in the underground passageway, it still took a day to traverse. Then I'll accept your kind offer. Thank you, Sister Sophia. Okay, I might have asked this in the first game when we were doing this. It took a day. Did you not bring any snacks? How did you not eat for a day? Okay, fine. But did you just, like, pee in a corner? You had to have had to pee at least once in that day. Where did you pee? Like, were you like, hold on, I'm just gonna go in the corner. You just, like, squat in the corner. Like, like, I mean, I know I'm not supposed to think of these things, but every once in a while, Logic just pops in your head and you're like, it took a day, but we didn't eat, we didn't sleep, and where did we pee? Because those are like, that's a normal fucking question. And like, does anybody think of that when they write? It took us 3 days to get through this. How are you alive? Don't worry about it. I'm worried about it. Like, I don't know why it just pops into my head, and now it just haunts me in the back of my mind that like, what if you had to poop? Did you just like poop in a corner of this freaking like? I mean, it's a legit question because it's the same thing if it took you a day to traverse after the fire and you stopped and took a rest, so then you're coming back the next day and you're like, I mean, a year later and you're like, well, that was my pee corner the last time. Like, what the? Okay, look, I'm just throwing it out there that I don't think they thought that through. Anyway, then I'll accept your kind offer. Thank you, Sister Sophia. Also, and if I've been holding my pee for that long, they were like, what are you doing? Nothing. I just really have to pee. I haven't peed in like 2 days. Like, did we pee in a bush before we went into the tunnel? She smiled and left for the kitchen. Spacey. Henry pulled out a chair for me. Thank you. I sat down in the chair as prompted. He pulled out a chair next to mine and sat down. I'm glad we were able to see Sister Sophia. Thank you, Henry. I looked at him and asked about safe place, our meeting with the Mafia. I feel like our meeting with the Mafia, because that's, like, the safe place would be nice to know, because I'm exhausted. But this is probably pertinent on our mind. Let's ask about the meeting with the Mafia. Hell yeah. About our meeting with the Mafia, to be honest, I was a little surprised. I didn't expect them to cooperate so easily, especially Dante and NICOLA. She's like, some shit is up.
Yes, it is a concern of mine as well. And not only because of my long-standing grudge, but because I took the Key Maiden from the FALZONE and escaped town.
And for all they know, you defiled the Key Maiden. They don't know what we didn't do. But I'm the one who took you. That's cute. I took the Key Maiden. Well, I took you, technically. Girl.
What matters is how they see things.
Henry looked at me with a bitter smile. That's actually kind of cute. They're like, you took it. Whoa, 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 whoa. I kidnapped him and ran. So I'm going to need you to put that testosterone in check, all right? I took him, and then he's over there blushing like, we got some stones in this word. I like it. I decided to be direct about how I felt. If there are any misunderstandings, I'll explain it to them properly. I know maybe you feel you should shoulder all the responsibility yourself, but this is something that I chose, so I want to take half of the responsibility too. After a quiet moment, I saw a gentle smile appear on his face.
I understand how you feel. Thank you.
Not at all. I wasn't expecting any thanks, so his response made me feel somewhat embarrassed. Anyway, today's meeting came as a relief. I'm glad they understood. Just then, Sister Sophia returned with the tea.
Here you are, Space.
Thank you, Sister Sophia. I looked down at the clear reddish-brown tea as steam rose up in delicate wisps. Is this a new kind of tea?
Yes, I just received it as a gift.
Smells good, like cinnamon. I took a sip of the hot tea and felt my body warming up. It occurred to me then just how cold the underground passage was. There's a lot of the cold. We're missing words and now we're doubling up. Good job, Tim and Ronald.
Space, can you tell me what happened after you left town?
Yes, but are you sure it's not too late? Wouldn't you need to wake up early?
I don't mind. It's been so long since our last meeting, I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. And my preparations included our time here, so there's no need to feel rushed.
I was relieved to hear Henry's reassurances. As my letter had contained limited information, I wanted to explain everything fully. I don't know how much of this you already know, but Henry and I have been together since we left Berlin last year. That day, when the casino burned down, I told her why I decided to leave Berlin and how we eventually settled into our new lives. I explained everything to her in order. Just as I was nearing the end of the story... Yeah, I was worried about this. I'm not gonna lie. When she's like, oh, is this a new tea? Yes, I was just given it as a gift. Don't drink the tea. It's poisoned. I am not gonna lie. I fully expected this. I did. I should have said something, but I was like, oh, it smells like cinnamon. And I was waiting for Henry to be like, smack the teacup. Don't drink the tea. Unless he was like, drink the tea. He sent it to her to drug us so that he can disappear and leave us at the church. You know what I mean? But then, like, how are we going to, like, romance the man if we're never around him? I felt a strong drowsiness and rubbed my eyes.
Miss Bays, are you all right?
Yes, just a little sleepy. I suddenly felt too weak to sit up on my own and leaned against Henry without thinking.
She must be tired.
He put his arm around me without moving away.
You can sleep if you like. You're safe here.
Yeah, am I? I don't know about that. Something about the tea. My eyelids were so heavy, it felt too painful to keep them open. Henry's and Sister Sophia's voices grew distant. So worried, but I am glad Henry is okay now. I was so happy that he managed to convince the Mafia not to kill him. Something sus about this.
Sister, thank you for arranging everything as we discussed. I appreciate it.
Yeah. He had her drug us!
Please do not worry. It won't be harmful to her in any way. Yes, I understand. I tried it myself when I received it just to be certain. Enclosed in the letter I sent her was the substance that would help her sleep, as well as a note suggesting that she try some herself if she was worried. I wrote it only because I knew she'd not allow Spacey to drink it otherwise. Senor Lambert, I have sent many letters over the past few months. You're the one who raised her. I thought that I should keep you updated to the best of my ability.
Look at him! Good boyfriend sending letters to her mom.
I tried to encourage her to write you, but she was stubborn. After the first letter, she wouldn't write anymore. She must have been very worried. That your whereabouts would be revealed if she had written again. Afraid of putting you in danger simply because she longed for her hometown. That's the way she's always been. And now that you've lived with her, I'm certain you understand her well enough. My hope is that everything that happened today was done as a favor to her. And that's why I agreed to help you, although when she awakes she'll be saddened, very much so. And nevertheless, I cannot keep her with me any longer, and there's no reason for her to be dragged further into danger because of me. You must understand this as well, sister.
I knew it! He's gonna pawn me off on the nuns! Damn it!
But I'm the one who ruined her life. I must take responsibility for it however possible. I'm unable to provide her with anything, not even a peaceful day.
That's not true. We had a lot of peaceful days and happiness before the Phantom murdered our orphans.
I carefully embraced Spacey and lifted her up into my arms. She was so warm. I could almost feel her heartbeat. It made me think of many things.
You bastard. I'm so mad at you. I am so mad at you! I'm so mad! No! Anyway, we're roughly at time. We're a little bit under, but that's okay. I mean, like, by what, like 30 seconds? It's fine. So, anyway, we will have the trauma of waking up lost without Henry in the next part. So, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.